You smiled at something they said. You stayed calm when they cut you off. You told yourself they were just busy, just stressed, just having a bad day. But deep down, something kept pulling at you. That quiet feeling that something is wrong, that you're being treated like you do not quite matter, that you are always the one adjusting, always the one making excuses for them, always the one left feeling smaller after every conversation. And the painful part is not what they did. The painful part is that you already knew. You knew before you could name it. Disrespect rarely shows up loud. It does not arrive as an insult or a slap. It arrives soft. It arrives in patterns, small moments that each feel like nothing on their own. But when you line them up, the picture becomes impossible to ignore. Most people never see it clearly because they are too close to it, too hopeful, too willing to give another chance. And the person disrespecting them counts on exactly that. There is a specific kind of disrespect that never announces itself. It does not argue with you. It does not insult you. It simply treats you as though your words dissolve the moment they leave your mouth. Your presence registers as background noise. Your feelings land on someone who has already decided they do not count. That is not rudeness. That is erasure. And erasure dressed up as patience or warmth or just being busy. That is the most dangerous kind because you cannot point to it. You cannot defend against what is never named. This is not about someone having a bad week. This is about a pattern, a quiet, consistent pattern that has been there longer than you want to admit. If someone in your life does these 5 things, they have already made a decision about you. They may never say it out loud, but everything they do says it for them. Stay with me, because number 5 is not what most people expect. It is the one that tends to hit last and hurt most because it shows you that the disrespect was never accidental. It was calculated. By the end of this, you will not need someone else to validate what you already felt. You will have the language for it. And once you have the language, the confusion stops. Number 1, watch how someone handles you when you are talking. They interrupt you, not once, not by accident, as a habit. Every time you start to say something, they cut in. They finish your sentences wrong. They talk over you like your words are just background noise waiting to be replaced by theirs. Most people brush this off. Every time they cut in, the message is the same. What I'm about to say matters more than what you are in the middle of saying. You do not get to finish because finishing implies your thought has somewhere worth going. You are not worth the pause. That is not rudeness. That is a ranking system. And you are not at the top of it. Notice it, not once. The pattern. Because 1 interruption is a moment, 10 interruptions is a message. Now think about the last promise they made you. That pulls us into number 2. Did they keep it? Did they even mention it again? Or did they just move on like it was never said? Like your time, your weight, your hope meant nothing. And when it fell apart, they did not apologize. They just kept going, unbothered. Like breaking their word to you cost them nothing. Because to them, it does not. A person who respects you guards their promises to you. They feel the weight of letting you down. When someone repeatedly says one thing and does another without flinching, without even a mention of what was lost, they have already shown you the math. You are not someone they feel accountable to. Behavior is the only language that never lies. And the most revealing behavior is not what someone does when it is easy. It is what they do or quietly fail to do when keeping their word costs them something. And that brings something even quieter into the light. Number 3, some of them are warm, genuinely warm. They laugh with you. They check in sometimes. They feel present when they are there. But pull back for a second and look at when they actually appear. Really look. Is it always around a favor? A problem they need solved. A moment where they need something only you can give. And then once they have it, the warmth quietly fades until the next time they need a refill. You're not a person in that dynamic. You are a resource. And resources do not get warmth between uses. The moment you have nothing left to offer, the contact does not become hostile. It simply becomes absent. Not a door closing. Just a number they forget to call. Some people will drain you quietly. But number 4 does something that cuts deeper than that. It attacks the one thing you cannot afford to lose. your sense of reality. You share something that hurts you, something real, something that took courage to say out loud. And they look at you and say, you are too sensitive, or that is not a big deal, or you are overreacting. And suddenly, you are not talking about what they did anymore. You are defending whether your feelings were even valid in the first place. That is the switch. That is the move. It is not about the issue anymore. It is about making you doubt yourself so deeply that you stop bringing things up altogether. And once you stop bringing things up, they never have to be held responsible for anything, ever. A person who respects you may disagree with how you feel, but they do not erase it. They do not turn your pain into evidence of a problem with you. When someone consistently makes you feel irrational for having completely normal human reactions, they are not confused about your feelings. They understand them precisely. That is why they move to discredit them instead of address them. It is not carelessness. It is a strategy. Trust that pattern more than you trust their smile. Now, number 5. This is the one most people feel, but never fully name. They are a different person depending on who is watching. When it is just the two of you, they are present, maybe even kind. But the moment other people enter the room, something shifts. They get colder. They talk over you more. They make small comments at your expense disguised as jokes. They position themselves above you without ever saying a word directly. And if you call it out later, they act like you imagined it. You did not imagine it. What you witnessed is someone showing you their real calculation. In private, there is no audience to perform for, so there is no reason to manage the impression they make on you. In public, you become part of their presentation, a supporting role. They make small cuts at your expense, not out of cruelty, but out of reflex, because making themselves look bigger has simply become more important than treating you with care. The gap between who they are with you alone and who they are when others are watching, that gap is not a mood. It is a measurement of exactly where you fall in their hierarchy. That is not confusion. That is a decision. Here is what all 5 of these have in common. None of them are accidents. None of them are personality quirks. They are all ways of saying, without ever saying it, that you do not count, that your time, your feelings, your presence, your word, none of it carries real weight to them. And the dangerous thing is not that they think that. People will think what they think. The dangerous thing is when you start to believe it too. When you have been interrupted so many times, you stop speaking. When you have been let down so many times, you stop expecting. When you have been dismissed so many times, you stop sharing. That is when their disrespect becomes your identity, and that is the real damage. Here is what no one tells you about prolonged disrespect. It does not just hurt you. It recalibrates you. Every time you absorb it without response, a quiet part of you files it away as normal, as the baseline, as what you should expect. And slowly, without any single dramatic moment, you stop expecting more. You stop asking for more. You start designing your life around people who were never worth the blueprint. That is the real cost, not the pain of the moments, the slow erosion of what you believe you deserve. Seeing these patterns clearly is not about anger. It is not about cutting everyone off or turning cold. It is about something much simpler. It is about knowing what is real. Because once you know what is real, you stop spending your patience, your energy, your loyalty on people who decided long ago that none of it would ever be enough. You do not need to chase respect from people who have already decided not to give it. You do not need to earn basic decency. You do not need to make yourself smaller to survive in a space that was never built for you. What you need is simpler than any of that. You need to trust what you have already seen. Because the moment you stop arguing with the evidence, the path forward becomes obvious. If something in this felt familiar, that recognition is not an accident. It means part of you already knew. The only question now is what you decide to do with that clarity.